In the constantly changing world of fundability, the big question is this: how are entrepreneurs and real estate investors like us, ones who want to grow our businesses and who are tired of paying for really expensive alternative lending, how do we tap into the most inexpensive money available and do it without the hassle of typical borrowing? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. Welcome to the Get Fundable podcast with your host, Merrill Chandler.
Welcome, everybody. Merrill Chandler here, your guide, your host, your concierge to the Get Fundable podcast and the Get Fundable universe. In this episode, I don't know why it took me so long to do the math, connect the dots, but in this episode, we talk about the old paradigm of creditworthiness versus the new paradigm, the revolutionary paradigm of fundability, how they are nothing alike, and yet how when we do use the old paradigm, when we filter lending opportunities and approvals through creditworthiness, it creates worse and it creates worse opportunities for us, and it can actually harm our approvals. So when we come back, we'll get right into it. Glad you're with me. I'll see you on the inside. Welcome, everybody. Merrill Chandler here, your host of the Get Fundable podcast. And I cannot wait to talk to you about this particular subject, right? And what's funny is we've got 130 plus episodes, and it has never, until this moment, it has never dawned on me to cover this subject. And it very well might be, after my origin story, it should be like the next episode, because it frames everything, and it's insanely vital that we understand the difference between fundability and creditworthiness. Now, at first flush, if we're just thinking from our current framework, we're like, well, creditworthiness and fundability, they're the same thing. We get approvals. But do we? Are they the same thing? So that's what today is about. I want to blow this subject matter out of the water. First of all, let's take a look at creditworthiness, right? Creditworthiness. Now, yeah, it has the word credit in it, but it also has the word worthy in it. And I'm not okay with that because we literally use a 3-digit number that in our minds determines our financial self-worth. If we have a high score, we're all proud. If we have a low score, we're a little, we're embarrassed or we're ashamed. We don't talk about our credit, etc. That's not okay. I mean, look at how we define it, or we determine it. I have good credit. I have bad credit. Those are judgment terms. Those aren't math algorithms. Those aren't descriptions of a process in order to take down loans and lines of credit. Those are judgment words, right? Now, to add to kind of to complicate this a little bit further, or to make it even worse, is that FICO, lenders, the government, they all refer to you as consumers. Think about it. I consume. I'm a consumer, right? You produce goods, I consume goods. So so notice, I am a consumer. That's an I am statement. I am a good borrower. I'm a bad borrower. All of those are judgments. All right. And here's what's interesting. Our words reveal us, right? When we speak this way, I'm a good score means I'm a good consumer. A bad score means I'm a bad consumer. Our language, you guys, completely reveals what we're talking about. We're describing ourselves as a human being, and we're judging us by this 3-digit number. Now, to add insult to injury, we even judge ourselves by false 3-digit numbers. You guys know who I'm talking about. Credit Karma and every other credit monitoring outfit out there that does not have the FICO logo, That's a 3-digit score that isn't even a real evaluation of credit. No lenders use that score to determine whether to approve or deny your application. So not only are we not content, I'm going to get on my bandwagon, on my soapbox here. Not only are we not content to take to judge ourselves by an accurate score, we're willing to base our financial health and well-being on a false score, a FACO score. Let's try an experiment. I want you to do this with me. Pull out a credit card right now, unless you're driving, but pull out a credit card. Just pull out a credit card. You don't have to give it to me. I'm not going to have you show it to me in your, oh, that's right. This is a one-way piece. All right. Just pull out the credit card. I'll give all of you a second to do so. All right. Now, when you look at that card, whose name is on that card? In 95% of my or 95%. In my boot camps, 95% of all attendees will shout out, my name is there. My name is there. And you're not wrong if you did. Is that what you said? Is that the name? Did you say, yeah, my name is there? The problem is, guys, is that there is another name on that card. It is the lender's name. But since our credit consciousness is about being worthy, credit worthy gives our ego identity the opportunity to take the win and call it an achievement. I got a $20,000 credit card. I got a $100,000 business line of credit. And we will, because we frame it all in the idea of worthiness, I am now worthy because I got approved. Really? Really? Are you a worthy human being because you got approved? Are you even a financially worthy human being because you got approved? No, you're not. But since some part of us believes that we earned it by paying our bills on time, you guys have been with me long enough to know that that's just ludicrous. Paying our bills on time just barely keeps us in the game. Okay. But because before we knew the FICO 40 and the borrower behaviors, before we knew any of this, we believed we earned it. And because we earned it, we get a little bit arrogant. And we say that that money is ours to do with as we please. Think about that. There is not a lender on earth who believes that the money represented by your credit card is yours to do with as you please. They even have zillions of pages of fine print describing what you can and can't do, and what types of transactions gets lower interest rates and higher interest rates for other types of transactions. You guys, but because our consumer consciousness, our credit worthiness consciousness is so big that this immediately leads us into a fundability trap. We start doing behaviors that are unfundable because we think the money is ours to do with as we please. And nothing could be further from the truth. So what is fundability? Let's contrast these two now. Fundability is simply your having a borrower behavior and a borrower profile that fit lenders' guidelines, right? Those of you who've listened to me before know exactly that's what we're talking about. It simply means that a lender looks at our past behaviors, not who we are, but our past behaviors, and says, you know what? Those behaviors are predictable. I can count on those behaviors. So I'm going to raise that credit limit or give them a new credit line. It means that we hit the funding bullseye, and it's not because of who we are, but because of what we've done. It's math, not worthiness. Are you guys following me? It's math. It's not about your identity. It's about what you do, not who you are. But many of us, the whole creditworthiness consciousness, we get caught up in being creditworthy. Now, if we are using this creditworthiness framework and we are denied, how many of you have be honest with yourself, how many of you have taken a hit to your little heart because you got denied? You're like, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. How many of you put a little knock on your credit to belt when you get approved? How many of you take the win and say, yeah, I am awesome? Listen to our language. I'm awesome. Not my behaviors are awesome or my profile's awesome, but we get in our own way and we say that I'm awesome. Okay. The problem is that creditworthiness frames all of this in good and bad, right and wrong, and makes it about us. But interestingly, guys, fundability, if we get approved with a fundability framework, we literally are like, yeah, I am doing the right things, because all I teach you is about borrower behaviors and a borrower profile. I don't talk about how good you are as a human being or how bad you are as a human being. There's no credit shaming here. You're bad because you did these things. No. If you get an approval, it's because you've dialed in your fundability metrics. But if you get denied, what do we talk about in the boot camp? That just means we got to move the dials just a little bit to fine tune our profile and our borrower behaviors so that we hit the funding bullseye. Guys, we act, remember, this is all automatic underwriting. This isn't manual underwriting. We want to get away from manual underwriting, full doc loans. That's all BS. We want automatic underwriting. We want software to evaluate we want to establish predictable behaviors that software looks and says, oh, look at those predictable behaviors. And then they go, let's give this borrower some more money. Creditworthiness doesn't do that. And so, you guys, creditworthiness is, think of it as a taker's game. You know, we all hate individuals in our lives who they never call us unless they want something. Takers, takers, takers. Right? That's creditworthiness. I earned it. I earned this credit line, so I'm going to do with it what I please. And because you have the arrogance of that mentality, then now you are not careful to treat that money with deference and respect. You're not going to use predictable borrower behaviors with it. And as a result, you're not going to succeed as often or as much. But if you are the fundability perspective creates a win-win. It's like an agreement with a lender. Lender says, here's my borrower behaviors. Meet them, I give you money. And you're like, you know what? That's awesome. Thank you for sharing those. Now, the lender's not sharing them with you. I am. But you're like, yeah, I can do this. Here are the borrower behaviors. I'm going to comport myself, a big word for simply saying I'm going to act, not be, I'm going to act according to your guidelines. And when I do, you give me money. And then I treat that money with deference and respect. When I treat it with deference and respect, what happens? The lender gives me more money. You guys, it's not rocket science. But I can't hold. I was ignorant to all of this until I wasn't anymore. You've been ignorant. You've been in the dark. You have been kept out of the inner circles where this information has been shared and where this information has actually can change your life. So now that you're here, now that you're part of the Get Fundable tribe, now that you're here, now that you're part of what we're creating, then you get to now stop trying to be worthy. We won't get into that right now, but I'm not going to let you convert your worthiness or unworthiness, your self-sabotage, or all your beliefs about yourself. I'm not going to let you bring that to the world of your financing capacity. I want you to act from the perspective that you are fundable and you operate from borrower behaviors and a profile that's predictable and trustworthy, and lenders are going to lend to you. This is Merrill Chandler, your host of the Get Fundable universe. Please like, comment, say hi, shout it out. Let's and if you like this, share it with your friends who need to know it's time to stop being worthy and start being fundable. I'll see you on the inside.
Thank you for listening to the Get Fundable podcast. Please leave comments because Merrill would love to read about your aha moments from this episode. And be sure to visit getfundable.com to read our blog, get important links, join our community, and much, much more, like ordering Merrill's tell-all book that is changing the world, The New F Word. And you got to tell your friends about this podcast because we want them to get fundable too.